Microsoft kicked off the detachable tablet segment of the modern 2-inch-1 market with its original Surface device, which also heralded the company's entry into the PC hardware business. Microsoft has continued to improve the lineup since then, while other PC makers jumped into the 2-inch-1 market with a vengeance, offering their own variants of ever-increasing quality and performance. The PC market is starting to recover from its years-long slide in sales volume, and the 2-inch-1 has been an important part of its resurgence. Even with all the competition, the Surface Pro 4 remained our favorite Windows 10 detachable tablet and emerged as one of the best-selling Surface products. Now, after more than 18 months on the market, Microsoft has finally introduced the 5th generation in the Surface Pro family. But don't call it the Surface Pro 5. The number is no more. The new Surface Pro is in some ways an incremental update to the Surface Pro 4 and doesn't bring the pizzazz of recent innovations like the Surface Book and Surface Studio. Incrementing on the best product in its class isn't anything to sneeze at, however, and neither is the hardware in our review unit. It came with a Core i7-7660U CPU, 16 GB of RAM, and a 512 GB solid-state drive, which brought the price tag to $2,200. Does the Surface Pro maintain Microsoft's place at the top? Or have the 2-inch-1s it has inspired caught up? World-class engineering. The Surface Pro enjoys the same outstanding attention to detail as every other modern Surface machine, and Microsoft's ability to produce extremely well-built machines is as apparent as always. Simply put, the Surface Pro is solid as a rock, and exudes a sense of futuristic quality. It's also well-designed, with a look and feel that, while minimally changed from the Surface Pro 4, is still an improvement. The corners are more rounded, and the exhaust vents along the edges are less pronounced. There aren't many moving parts in the Surface Pro itself. The power and volume buttons along the top are easy to find by feel, and have a crisp action, while the kickstand is smooth and reliably holds the tablet at your chosen angle. It now opens up to 165 degrees, an increase from the Surface Pro 4, which opened 150 degrees. Fully flexed, the kickstand can turn Surface Pro into a nearly flat slate. A slightly improved typing experience. The Surface Pro is no longer marketed as the tablet that can replace your notebook. Microsoft is simply calling it a laptop, which makes it unfortunate that the $160 signature type cover keyboard, received with our review unit, isn't included. It's frankly essential, and we can't imagine why you'd buy a Surface Pro without it. You can save some money with a standard type cover, but it's still $130, and isn't covered in Alcantara. Fortunately, this vital accessory shares the high-quality aspects of the Surface Pro, and adds a splash of color as well. Our review unit came with the cobalt blue version, but burgundy, platinum, and black versions are also available. The Alcantara fabric feels great, and remains a unique feature not found on competing 2-inch-1s. The signature type cover's key travel is more than sufficient at 1.5 mm, with just the right amount of pressure required to register key presses. The action is crisp with just a hint of bottoming out, and it's quite a bit quieter than the previous type cover that shipped alongside the Surface Pro 4. It's backlit with 3 levels of brightness, and suffers from minimal light bleed. If you decide to flip into tablet mode for a moment and fold back the type cover, the keyboard will turn off when the cover is tucked back. It can even switch Windows 10 into tablet mode, if desired. It attaches to the tablet with strong magnets and connects via a physical port, meaning there's zero lag when typing. That's a nice improvement over the Bluetooth keyboard covers used by the Samsung Galaxy Book and Apple iPad. The touchpad is a little small, but it works extremely well. It's a Microsoft Precision touchpad that supports all Windows 10 gestures, and it offers up a smooth surface with just enough resistance to provide feedback for accurate mouse control. The pen is great, but it'll cost you. Unlike the Surface Pro 4, The new Surface Pro doesn't include the Surface Pen, an unfortunate decision on Microsoft's part. The company cited a few reasons for making the pen an option, including the new multicolor scheme, customer feedback that shows that not everyone uses the pen, and the fact that many people who buy the Surface Pro will be upgrading from previous models. The pens, and the type covers, for that matter, are compatible across the Surface 3, Surface Pro 3, Surface Pro 4, and Surface Pro. Microsoft no longer refers to the Surface Pro as a tablet, and that makes sense given its laptop-like components. Microsoft made up for the decision to make the pen optional by significantly improving its specifications, while pricing the new version at $100. Pressure sensitivity has been quadrupled, from 1024 levels to 4096, a new tilt feature has been added, and latency has been reduced dramatically to 21 ms on the Surface Pro, with the help of the new Surface Pen design and a hardware accelerator. The new Surface Pen features work on the previous models as well, although latency will only be marginally improved. You'll want to make sure you pick the right color, given that it will be available in the same colors as the signature type cover. The improvements are noticeable, with no discernible delay between when the pen tip is placed on the screen to when Windows 10 ink starts to flow. And the pen keeps up better with fast motions, never falling behind, as sometimes happens with the Surface Pro 4. The combination makes the Surface Pro one of the best inking experiences on the market, and a great tool for digital drawing and handwriting. The Surface Dial works out of the box, as does Windows Hello. Of course, the Surface Pro also offers a capacitive touchscreen with 10-point multi-touch capabilities. It's as responsive as ever, offering yet another way to interact with the very touch-friendly Windows 10. And the Surface Pro supports the innovative Surface Dial input accessory directly on the screen. Finally, Windows 10 Hello support is provided by an infrared camera that's mounted next to the HD webcam. It offers password-less login via facial recognition, and we found it to be very fast in our testing. A very minimal selection of ports. Microsoft is late to the party when it comes to adopting the increasingly ubiquitous USB Type-C connection. The company has its reasons, few accessories use the connection at this point, and customers can get confused when it comes to charging the machine, but we disagree with the decision. Instead, the Surface Pro comes equipped with a single USB 3.0 Type-A connection and a mini display port. There's also a microSD card reader located under the kickstand, and the same Surface Connect port that Microsoft has been using since the Surface Pro 3. That port provides power to the machine, or can connect to the optional Surface dock. Interestingly, Microsoft will be providing a Surface Connect to USB Type-C adapter at some point in the future. We're not sure what USB Type-C features will be supported by the dongle, so we're left disappointed with the Surface Pro's connectivity overall. The usual Surface display quality, which is to say, IT is excellent. The Surface Pro 2017 offers essentially the same display as the Surface Pro 4, meaning it's a 12.3-inch pixel-sense display with 2736 x 1824 resolution, 267 ppi, panel in a 3:2 aspect ratio. More and more machines are adopting the 3:2 format, as it offers a display that's a little taller, for fitting more of a document or web page on the screen at once. The aspect ratio does cause some letter